Atmosphere out here at Olson Field tonight. Sunday night, as mentioned, no school tomorrow. These days now getting updates, probably getting softball updates via the phone.
A lot of texting, I bet,
yes,
tonight.
Director of Athletics Bill Byrne for Texas A&M wished he could be here, sent along his best wishes, but felt like he needed to stay in Oklahoma City.
Jose Duran, a base hit. We're tied. Duran is going to round first. They had him shaded well towards center field, and the long run by the left fielder, Jake Stewart, allows Duran to round first and get to second base. 2-2, nobody out. Top of 6. Duran in scoring position.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, that's 3 pitches that have now been driven. And now we get a little action in the Cougar bullpen. I know the last 2 batters, Carter and Duran, were first pitch swinging. And if I'm not mistaken, Colligan's double was also on the first pitch.
For Duran, that is hit number 100 on the year, and he is the 4th A&M player in history to accomplish that feat.
Jason Tyner being one of those, if I'm not mistaken, has the record. JT, a member of the Letterman's Association, Hall of Fame. Great job by Kathy Capps, Marty, and Aaron. Great staff there.
Luke Anders looks at a pitch inside. It's 2-0.
May be seeing more baseball heroes warming up in the bullpen. Number 29, Matt Taylor, left-hander, another true freshman from Dulles High School down in Sugar Land, Texas. Mentioned Dallas Baptist having a lot of players from the Metroplex. University of Houston, the great high school baseball tradition down in the Houston area.
2-0 to Anders. That did not make it into the zone. It's 3-0. Both cities rich with talent on the diamond.
And that was one of the main draws for Rob Childress coming from the pitching coach at Nebraska. And opportunity presented itself as just recruiting down in this area. An outstanding institution like Texas A&M.
They walked Anders. It puts runners at first and second base. Still with nobody out, and Brian Ruggiano will step up to the plate.
They have a lot of conversations here on the mound, trying to give Taylor a little time down there in the bullpen. I know as a former second baseman, sometimes you go to the mound and you might ask, where are we going to go to eat tonight? Well, what show you want to see? Anything to buy a little time.
Right.
Did you see that nice-looking brunette?
In the movie Bull Durham, it was a hex on a glove,
well, yeah.
A wedding gift.
Wedding gift, yeah, exactly. So you never know. You never know. Baseball players are known to be a little peculiar. Few superstitious, a lot of tradition, a lot of winning tradition, both of these programs, Texas A&M and Houston.
Ruggiano looked like he wanted to show bunt. It's a 2-0 count. And the A&M crowd is letting Jared Ray know just exactly how many pitches out of the zone he has thrown consecutively. The chant of ball 6 rains down from the Olson faithful.
Ruggiano, once again, third baseman playing in front of the bag, first baseman in front of the bag. They'll both be crashing as he squares around the bunt. Shortstop there, pulled it back. The fake bunt slash had the shortstop covering third base, which opened up a great hole on the left side of the infield. But the key to it all is throwing strikes. And right now, Jared Ray is falling behind in the count, 2-0 to Ruggiano. Wearing familiar 17 there. Older brother.
It was a big hit in his day.
Yes, he did.
Texas A&M or two.
Regional play as well.
Sure. Championship round.
The grand slam down at Reckling Park.
Against the Rice Owls and sent the Aggies to a super regional in 04.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the LSU Fighting Bengals.
It was Justin Ruggiano, not Brian.
No.
His brother hits right here.
Justin, I believe, still playing minor league baseball.
And his brother's got a 2-1 count on him with his Aggies, his 08 Aggies, tied at 2 with Houston in the top of the 6th.
Quite a chess match going on. Ruggiano squaring around early. He's brought it back for a slash attempt. We'll see. He squares already. Puts down the bunt, third base.
Tried to barehand it. Pounds couldn't grab it. They're loaded with Aggies still with nobody out.
That'd be ruled a sacrifice bunt. Sacrifice E5. Sacrifice to advance the runners to second and third. But Ruggiano was safe on an E5. Excellent bunt. Bases loaded and no outs here for Texas A&M.
Well, the inning started with a Kyle Colligan double. It was followed by a Dane Carter triple and then a Jose Duran double. A walk, a sac bunt that had an error attached to it. Texas A&M's tied the game at 2. Nobody is out. We're in the top of number 6. Darby Brown has swung a hot bat in this regional. He's 0 for 2 tonight, however. This one is bounced up the middle. They will only go to second base for a play, and a run will score.
Heads up base running right there by Ruggiano. Not running into a force play. You see this bounding ball to the second baseman. He stops, but that allows base runner Duran to score from third base, staying out of the double play, allowing Brown to reach first base, fielder's choice RBI.
Now they're at the corners. Blake Stouffer up. Stouffer has reached base twice today, but he does not have an official at bat. He walked his first time up. He was hit by a pitch the next time. And I'm sure Stouffer would be entirely okay with not recording an at bat here. If he get a fly ball to the outfield, it would turn into a sac fly, and it would score Anders from third base.
Blake, we mentioned his leadership abilities. He's an outstanding young man. Just mentioned struggled right out of the gate in non-conference play, but has really come on as Texas A&M set a Big 12 record, winning 16 Big 12 league games in a row. Stouffer really having a large part in that, and just this overall
hit streak. I think they got about to 17 or 18.
Exactly,
maybe.
And just this ball club has been very close. Rainer Noble has mentioned their camaraderie among the Houston Cougar. Appeal down to third base, said they did not go around. But baseball lends itself to that, where you can really develop those relationships and know that these guys are in that dugout with you, rooting you on, and people accepting the roles. Different guys stepping up at different points of the season.
Exactly what it takes in a championship round of a regional. 2-1 to Stouffer. A&M has already put 3 across here in the top of the 6th. They would like more. Stouffer, a check swing. That's a strike. 2-2.
Good fastball on the inner half. Darby Brown, only 1 stolen base. Not much of a threat there at first base.
Jared Ray trying to come back and keep this A&M advantage at just a run.
Now with the full count and 1 out, Stouffer at the plate. May go ahead and start the runner at first base. They'll hold him on at first. Not much of a lead by Brown there at first base. Off with the pitch.
Swing and a miss. The throw down to second. Brown is there. Couple of runners in scoring position, but now there's 2 outs.
Second stolen base of the year for Darby Brown. We've seen just today, Will, a lot of 3-2 breaking pitches, and that's the biggest difference in high school and college ball. The confidence these pitchers have to throw any pitch, fastball, changeup, breaking pitch, for a strike in crucial situation. High school ball, most of the time, you know you're going to have a fastball when it's a full count.
Big moment right here with this Kevin Gonzalez at bat. A base hit, and it could be 5-2. If Ray can retire him, it stays just 3-2. As we go to the bottom of the 6th after this. Gonzalez is 0 for 2 tonight.
Sounds as if softball may have taken a lead by the crowd here. We'll check on that.
We did hear some roars down below us. And I tell you, AC, some of these monitors on these laptops we have on Media Row, a lot of them are open to the softball game. And
1-0 in the top of the
extra innings.
That's
we
right.
know Texas A&M does have the lead against Florida.
Gotcha. All right.
Meanwhile, a 2-0 count to Kevin Gonzalez. And that will miss high, and it's 3-0. Brody Green is next. 4 hits for each team tonight. 3 errors by the Aggies, only 1 by the Cougars.
They're going to the bottom of the 9th inning. They're in Oklahoma City. A&M leads 1-0.
They walk Gonzalez on 4 pitches. Bases are loaded with Aggies, but Jared Ray is only 1 out away from getting out of this inning with just the 3 runs of damage. Brody Green, the hitter, as Goolsby wants to talk to Ray in front of the hill. This game is getting late, and they know that this is a very important situation. As you hit those late innings, 7, 8, and 9, the difference in a 3-2 game and a 5-2 game can seem very big.
Huge ball game, right? One of these moments in a game, and when we talk about momentum right now, that's sliding into that first base dugout with Texas A&M. But if he can escape a bases-loaded jam and keep this lead to 3-2, that old Mo may move over to the third base side.
He started Brody Green off with a strike.
9th batter to the plate in this inning.
Absolutely.
3 runs across. 3 batters on board. So 3 and 3 plus 2 would be 8. So this would be the 9th.
In the 7th last night, I think it was 18 batters that the Aggies sent to the plate. Maybe it was 17.
I believe 17. 12-run inning, which was tied for the second most runs in NCAA playoff history. Funny enough, in 1989, A&M scored 12 runs against Jackson State in the opening round of the NCAA regionals in 1989 here at Olson.
Green tries to go up the middle. They'll get to it, and they got to get him at first. What a play by the second baseman, Ryan Lorman. What a big play, flashing the leather, and the Cougars needed him to do it. 3-2, Texas A&M leads. We go to the bottom of the 6th. And you're watching 12th Man Productions broadcast of the 2008 College Station Regional on Fox Sports Net. Excellent crowd on hand at Olson Field in College Station. The A&M Aggies scored 3 runs in the top of the 6th. They take a 3-2 lead into the bottom half. And AC, I think you've got an update on the regional that this one is paired with.
Yes, down in Houston, Reckling Park, Rice leads Texas 6-4 in the top of the 7th. If Rice holds on, they advance to the Super Regionals. If this score stayed the same, these 2 ball clubs would meet in Reckling Park Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Times to be announced. All the Super Regional games will be broadcast on one network or another. Looks like North Carolina, the number 2 overall seed, has already punched their ticket, beating UNC Wilmington 7-3 to advance to the Super Regional. And Coastal Carolina looks to be rolling towards victory there in the Conway Regional.
We're going to start punching tickets tonight into the Super Regionals, which start next weekend. And as most of you know, if you win in the Super Regionals, you're off to the most coveted place in college baseball, Omaha, Nebraska, and the College World Series.
The number 1 overall seed, Miami, went through their regional undefeated, beat Ole Miss today 11-2. Ole Miss eliminated Big 12 foe Missouri 9-6 earlier today. But the Canes awfully tough there in Coral Gables.
They know their way around Omaha with that program. Jimmy Cesario is the batter. 1 count to him, and Ellert just lost one way outside there. Cesario, a single tonight and a fly out, but that fly out was to left field. It had Brody Green's back to the wall on the warning track. Hard cut, and he came up empty. He didn't nick it, but he didn't get as much of it as he wanted. Action in the A&M bullpen.
A little bit right-hander. Get you a number here in a minute.
Meanwhile, a 1-2 count to Jimmy Cesario. It is 4, 5, and 6 this inning for the Cougars, the middle of the lineup. Cesario and Lorman at the 4 and 5 spot have been their best hitters in this College Station Regional.
Important this half inning with A&M scoring 3 runs in the top half. Houston wanting to answer that, and A&M on the other hand wanting to get 3 up, 3 down and get back in and swing the bats. Old momentum.
Yeah, sway the mo and swing the bats. 1-2 to Cesario, and he just bruised one deep into right field, going back off the wall. That is a double, maybe a triple. He's churning for third. The throw, not in time. Cesario, a lead triple, and he continues his fantastic weekend.
See this pitch right here on the inner half, and he just turns on it and drives it right off the wall. Ruggiano giving chase. Colligan getting the ball back in to Stouffer and never hesitating, getting the third base. No outs. A tying run. Infield will play in at the corners at first and third, back at second and short here in the 6th inning.
It's Lorman, the hitter, and he just crushed one deep into left. That ball is off the wall. He's got a double, and we're tied at 3.
Just as Texas A&M jumping on the first pitches back in the top half of the frame. Houston here, first pitch offering, up, letter high, and he just turned on it. And a double for Lorman. Brand new ball game. I believe that's Thibault down in the bullpen. Kyle Thibault in the pen for Texas A&M.
There's still nobody out in the bottom of the 6th, and Houston's got a runner in scoring position. Thibault, one of the heroes in last year's regional for Texas A&M.
This situation, you might think of sacrifice, but with Presley being a left-handed batter, you just want him to pull the ball to the right side of the infield to advance the runner to third base with less than 2 outs. Presley, good speed. We mentioned before, center field has made a couple of outstanding defensive plays.
Now it's the Aggies trying to get out of an inning without further damage.
As the batter is trying to pull the ball to the right side, the pitcher most of the time is going to work him away See if he will pull over the top of it and dribble one, or see if we may be making a change here. Rob Childress coming out to visit.
Childress does handle the pitchers along with his head coaching duties. We'll see if he signals for Thiebaud. This might be to buy him some time. And
yeah, go ahead and visit here and say, young man, you got us into the 6th.
Could be the last batter or two that Ellert would face.
Home plate umpire Jeff Head moving out. Let's see what Rob Childress does here. They're talking, and looks like they're going to make the move. Thiebaud.
Kept watching down at the mound area to see if the call was made, and he'll come into the game. We're tied at 3 in the bottom of the 6th, and the Cougars are threatening. You're watching 12th Man Productions broadcast of the 2008 College Station Regional on Fox Sports Net.
The best of the Big 12 Conference is on Big 12 Showcase. Only Big 12 Showcase takes you on location every week for unparalleled coverage of all the athletic programs from across the conference. From the latest news and highlights to exclusive features and interviews, no one is more dedicated to the Big 12 than FSN. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, Big 12 Showcase brings you year-round coverage you won't get anywhere else. Big 12 Showcase, Fridays and Saturdays on FSN Southwest.
Fox College Sports has the recipe for the ultimate college reunion. Start with over 900 live NCAA events. Add your favorite conferences like the Pac-10, Big 12, and more. Toss in news from around the NCAA. And garnish with the hottest coaches shows. This is the place where college never ends. To order Fox College Sports, call 1-877-2-GET-FCS.
While we were at break, you could hear an eruption from Olsen Field. And all that was going on in our arena was Kyle Thiebaud taking his warm-up pitches. But the reason for it, this entire stadium has gotten word about what's going on in the Women's College World Series with the A&M softball team trying to make the National Championship Series, the finals of the WCWS. And they were just told, and a lot of them found out at the same time, that Texas A&M closed it out against Florida tonight. The Aggie softball team beats the Florida Gators, the 1 seed, 1-0. So tomorrow night from Oklahoma City, it is game 1 of the National Championship Series between the Texas A&M Aggies and the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Just watching over the shoulder of one of the computers here, left-handed second baseman Villarreal grabs the ground ball, tags the runner that was on first base, throws to first base, get the batter by a half step, double play to end that ball game.
What a night it could be in College Station if the women send themselves to the championship finals and the men send themselves to the Super Regionals. The baseball team can do that here tonight, but they got plenty of work to do. We're tied at 3, and U of H is threatening to take the lead. Kyle Thiebaud, one of the best the Aggies have to offer on the Hill, is gone to work. He's up against Zach Presley, who showed bunt and pulled back.
Scoring at home, Ramsey will be the Presley will be the batter. The Thiebaud face. Ellert had thrown one pitch, a foul ball, so go ahead and you can close the book. Other than the runner at second is the property of Ellert.
Thiebaud looks in. And he's gone 3-1 to Presley. Thiebaud this year a 1.87 ERA, 5-4 record. Opponents only hit him at a 203 clip. So Not only was he a regional hero last year for the Aggies, he's been very solid this year, but he issues a walk to Zach Presley. 2 runners are aboard, nobody out in the 6th.
Foley coming to bat, had a sacrifice in the 4th inning. His 13th sacrifice of the year. It may be that same situation here with the go-ahead run at second base. No one out. Gonzalez calling the signals from behind the plate. Setting your defense, expecting the bunt from Tully. Anders will crash at first base. Dane Carter at third.
Tully tries to lay down the bunt, but trickles foul.
Some situations trying to drag bunt such as Tully did right there, but then others go ahead and square around. Everyone in the ballpark knows you're probably going to bunt, but if you execute it properly, tough to defend. See what happens here with 0-1 count.
Come on, babe.
Tebow wanted to check on the runner at second base, Ryan Lorman.
As he does that, people in the dugout are watching the top hand of Tully. That will give you an indication whether he's bunting or swinging away. And he went after it.
And try to get the runner down at second.
Strike 2.
Meanwhile, it's an 0-2 count to Tully. Now, do you take the bunt off?
Well, this
last time
Goolsby earlier in the ball game in the 3rd inning for Houston failed to get the bunt down and then promptly deposited a 2-run home run.
May not be a bad thing for Tully. Here's the 0-2. Well, didn't work out the same that time. Swing and a miss. He's a strikeout victim.
Well, right there with Tebow getting ahead in the count. 0-2. Very sharp breaking slider for the right-hander. Had that outstanding ball game. Started complete game effort against University of Louisiana Lafayette last year in the College Station Regional in the 2nd championship game.
So now it's Caleb Ramsey. Tebow missed with the first pitch to him. Bottom of 7 right now from Reckling Park in Houston. Rice has tacked on another one. They lead Texas 7-4. The Owls are trying to close out the title in the regional that they host. 1-0 will miss. 2 balls, no strikes.
Breaking pitch. May call it a backdoor slider with the left-hander at the plate. Trying to break it over the outside part of the plate and just missed.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Duran himself and over to first, and a double play ends the inning. The Cougars jump right back and tie the ball game and then threaten even more, but the Aggies able to keep it at 3-3. We're going to the 7th. You're watching 12th Man Productions broadcast of the 2008 College Station Baseball Regional on Fox Sports Net.
You demand the man. So, EJ, we've designed you a signature shoe worthy of a 3-time All-American with mad smarts and 6 leadership skills. Ta-da!
There are over 380,000 NCAA student athletes.
Yeah, you got your GPA embossed, right? There.
I love it.
And just about all of them will be going pro in something other than sports.
Can I get it in a loafer for casual Fridays?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, you're gonna love this new computer. The processor's like 3 gigawatts.
Gigahertz.
And it's got a magical drive.
Optical drive.
2 gigs a sheet.
RAM?
All I know is this baby is screaming fast.
Maybe it needs more sheep.
Your computer's only as fast as the network it's connected to. Step up to Verizon high-speed internet for speeds up to 50 times faster than dial-up, plus the reliability of the Verizon network. Verizon, it's the network.
in the Crash Lane premieres next month exclusively on Speed.
Houston got back into a tie ball game with a run in the bottom of the sixth. Let's go to the seventh now. We've reached the late innings, and we are tied in the championship round of this College Station Regional. The Aggies put up a 3-spot in the sixth. 9 men came to the plate in that frame, so that means we're going to start this inning again with the top of the order for Texas A&M. Kyle Colligan is at an excellent regional. He started that last frame with a lead double, and he will look out at Jared Ray, the Cougar hurler that has done a terrific job thus far. He got the save earlier today when Houston eliminated Illinois Chicago 14-11 in 11 innings, and Ray has gone the distance thus far and held Texas A&M to just 4 hits this evening. As we've told you, the Aggies 31 hits combined in their first 2 games of this regional.
Donnie Joseph, left-hander for Houston, jogging down to the bullpen to get loose here in the late innings.
We saw him earlier today against Illinois Chicago.
Breaking pitch called for a strike. Quickly ahead in the count, 0-2 for Ray. Colligan now in a position of protecting the plate down in the count, 0-2. Can't say enough about the job that Ray has done as a true freshman in this pressure-packed situation, and he's gone out, thrown strikes, worked ahead of the hitters.
0-2, just wasted one outside.
But really in a situation where, as Rainer Noble says, hey, let's just go give it your best. There's no pressure on you. No one expects it. We've been out here in the heat all afternoon. Just go play baseball.
Colligan stays alive.
Jace sprinting across to get that foul ball. Colligan hanging tough with 2 strikes. Wind laying down a little bit earlier in the game.
Colligan skies one to left. He got under that one too much.
Just missed it.
Stewart will make the catch.
Sitting on that breaking pitch and just underneath it. See him right out over the plate. Got the extension, but the barrel of the bat just underneath the ball. 1 out here in the top of the 7th.
Dane Carter tripled, drove in a run, and then scored himself in the 6th.
Once again, first pitch strike, working ahead in the count.
Carter's triple was his 9th of the year. It ties the Texas A&M school record. He is 1 for 3 this evening. A line out, a fielder's choice in that 3-bagger.
Backdoor breaking pitch, stayed outside. Even the count 1-1.
Wait the 1-1 from Jared Ray. He goes opposite field with that one, but Stewart will get there and he makes another catch.
Once again, not getting all of it. Could tell coming off the bat. Pitch up in the zone, really about middle of the bat. Flies it out to left field. Stewart deposits for out number 2. Here in the 7th, we'll see if the rendition, the Singing Cadets, possibly God Bless America or Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
One or the other. Jose Duran to the plate, and he started off with a strike. Duran doubled, drove in a run in the 6th. Means he's 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a couple of ground outs.
Just missed outside, but he is really, catcher Goolsby setting that mitt, and Ray is doing a good job just playing catch. staying within himself, not overthrowing, using his legs. Nice breaking pitch.
Duran comes up very empty on that. Here's the 1-2.
Another breaking pitch. A lot of confidence by this freshman right-hander throwing that breaking pitch for strike tonight. Mixing his pitches well. Pretty good velocity with his fastball. These two ball clubs have played some close regional games in the past.
1-2, high and tight. Duran trying to get out of the way of it, almost went around with his bat. Held up. It's 2-2.
Jeff Head bounced out from behind home plate, appealed to the first base umpire Dennis McComb, and McComb says no, he did not go.
Deuces Wild in the top of the 7th. Duran, it's going to get into foul territory. It should be playable, and is, for Brian Tully. Top of the order goes silently for the Aggies in the top of the 7th. It's time to stretch, and we're headed to the bottom half. Tied at 3, late innings, championship round in College Station. You're watching 12th Man Productions broadcast of this 08 NCAA Regional. They're stretching them out in College Station. Tied at 3 as we go to the bottom of the 7th, and Austin Goolsby will lead it off for the Cougars. 9-1-2 this inning, but it's the 9-man Goolsby who may have the biggest hit of them all for U of H tonight. Goolsby entered the game with a 195 average, but in the 3rd inning he deposited a 2-run home run over the center field wall 400 feet away. Staked the Cougars to the 2-0 lead. A&M took back the advantage in the 6th, went up 3-2, but in the bottom half of that same frame, Cougars tied it again. We stand at 3-all in the 7th. Ground ball chopped high at Duran. 1 down.
Six to 3 here. A little chopper, slider. Duran comes up with it, throws. First base umpire says yes. Anders was on the bag long enough. Makes the reception. First out. Bottom of the 7th.
Top of the order now to Blake Kelso.
I want to say top of the order.
Kelso hitless tonight. Struck out, reached on an error, and grounded out. Thiebaud entered the game with nobody out in the 6th. He did not start that inning. A couple of batters had already come to the plate and gotten extra base hits off A&M starter Clayton Ellert. Thiebaud then didn't allow anything else the rest of the inning. But technically at the moment he's gone an inning of the 3rd, and he continues to work. 2-1 count to Kelso.
Aggressive right there, down in the count, 2-0, still threw the slider for a strike. That one up a little high. But when you have that confidence in your ability to throw a breaking pitch for a strike, keeps those hitters guessing up there at the plate.
On the 3-1. Call strike. Kelso wanted to take off.
Another breaking pitch, steady diet